friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today is another installment of my color theory series. Today we're working with the color purple, if you couldn't tell. I don't have any purple clothes. This was the closest I had to a purple shirt, and it's still more of like a blue purple, but that's all I had. So far in this series we have covered yellow, green, blue, and today is purple. If you haven't seen my other ones before, I highly recommend it, especially the first one, which was the yellow one, because I go really in depth about the color wheel and how certain things work. And we're just going to kind of cover that again in this video, but just not as in depth so I don't bore those of you who have seen it already. Basically, this is the color wheel right here. Purple is right here. The opposite of purple is yellow. So it's going to be a lot of the same situation that we talked about when we talked about yellow, because colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel are complementary. When they mix together, it creates a neutral or a muddy kind of tone. It doesn't create a true color like the rest of these colors do. Blue and orange are complementary, and red and green are also complementary. The three primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Those colors cannot be created by mixing any other color together. They are the basis of every other color on the color wheel, and by mixing those colors together, that's how you create those secondary colors, such as blue and red make purple, red and yellow make orange, and blue and yellow make green. Those are the secondary colors. Now I'm going to pull up this other color wheel too, because I talked about this when we talked about green, because green was the first secondary color we talked about. Purple is the next one that we're talking about. As you can see, when you mix the primary colors together, it creates these secondary colors right here. But as you see, if you mix the secondary colors together, it creates more of a neutral tone. It doesn't create a true color. So mixing purple directly with orange and green are also going to create kind of the same effect that it does by mixing purple and yellow. Just something a little more muddy, not as true, vibrant of an actual color. Now, quick disclaimer, I keep saying this in every video, but this is not me saying you can't wear purple and yellow together, or purple and green, or purple and orange. I'm just saying that blending them directly on top of each other doesn't always happen easily. That's all I'm trying to say with that. Let's go back to the initial color wheel, shall we? Basically, the colors that are directly next to the color on a color wheel, that's what's going to be the easiest to blend into. So reds and purples blend really, really well together, as well as blues and purples. I personally love wearing blue and purple together. I think it's just really pretty. I don't love wearing purple in general. I'm starting to like it as the years go on, because palettes are becoming better and purple eyeshadows are becoming better. But as a general rule, I don't love wearing purple eyeshadow. It's probably my least favorite color to wear. But when I do wear it, I really do like wearing purple and blue together. But I also really like really high contrasting situations, like when I talked about in the yellow video. I really like yellow and purple together. I think it's really pretty. My favorite way to wear contrasting colors, which I've already discussed, I know I keep saying that, but I know I'm gonna bore some of you, but I like wearing things in like cut creases or pops of color, whereas like maybe I would have the purple all smoked out in the crease, cut the crease, and pop yellow all over the lid. That would be so pretty, and then you don't have any risk of them blending together making a weird color, because there isn't a blend with a cut crease. It's cut in the crease, you know? Or maybe I will have an all yellow look and pop some lavender in the inner corner or something like that, you know? Just where it's not a direct blend, it makes life a little bit easier. You can, however, blend purple and yellow together. If you go back to my 3 looks 1 palette subculture video, I did do a look where it goes from that yellow to the purple. Those are a little bit more muted of tones, but I was still able to do it, but I just incorporated a little bit of brown into the mix just to make the blend a little bit easier, because if I would have just gone straight from yellow to purple, it might not have been as nice of an effect. I feel like purples can be easy to wear, but they can also be hard to wear. I talk about this in my tutorial, but I personally feel like purples can get really overkill really fast. It's really easy to make them just look really dark and, I don't know, almost flat. The easiest way for me to make purples more dimensional is kind of mixing different tones of purple. Like in this look, I have deeper, cooler purples. I have a little bit of a warmer purple. I have lavenders in here. I have lots of different tones of purple, and I feel like that really helps pull it together. If you wanted a really good seamless blend from purple to yellow, I would recommend incorporating either some kind of orangey red in the mix to make it a warm blend, or if you wanted it to be on the cooler side, mix a little bit of greeny blue, maybe kind of a tealish kind of color in between. That would help a lot as well. All right, now is the time. I'm gonna take my arm right here, and I'm going to lay out every color and blend purple on top of it so you can physically see with your own eyes what happens. So I'm just taking my Juvias Place Zulu palette. I have the yellow shade right here. I'm popping that on my arm, and then I just have a blending brush. I'm lightly tapping into the purple in the palette just because the purple's really pigmented, and I'm gonna blend right on top of the yellow, and it's just gonna turn to more of a muddy brown color. not super, super flattering. See, it's not as cute as you would expect. Let's stick with the warm tones. Let's go ahead and go with orange, which is the other secondary color in the palette besides purple and green. So I have my orange here. I'm just gonna start tapping some of that purple on top of it, just so you can see what happens. It just kind of gets more dingy and dull. It doesn't really do anything crazy. Now I'm putting some red on my arm. This is Love Plus from Sugar Pill. And when these mix together, it just makes a really pretty purpley red kind of color. Almost like a nice wine color. It's cute. Moving on to the green side of the palette, this is Midori from Sugar Pill. And again, putting purple on top of it isn't gonna do much. It's just gonna kind of muddy out. It doesn't make a true color, so to speak. See, it just kind of gets dull. It doesn't get as vibrant as this one. This is the only one that's looking vibrant so far. And last, let's take some blue. This is Kimchi from Sugar Pill. I'm just gonna pop that down here. And taking some of that purple from the Juvias Place palette. And this just creates a really pretty bluey purple color. I love blues and purples together. Makes almost a periwinkle kind of tone. It's so cute. So that's kind of what happens when you mix purple with all the colors directly. The only ones that make a true blended fusion of the two colors are these two here. All the other ones are just kind of not quite there. It's like it tried, but it didn't quite hit the mark, you know? So now we're gonna quickly talk about warm versus cool tone purples. Purple in itself is on the cool side of the color wheel. Purple, blue, and green are on the cool side. Red, yellow, and orange are on the other side, the warm side. So purple in itself is a cool tone color, but when it's mixed with more of the warmer red tones, it becomes a warm purple. When it's on the more bluey purple side, it's more of a cool tone purple. Here's a chart I found to just kind of explain it a little bit better. Kind of this top half of the color wheel is definitely more warm because it has more of that red base to it, whereas the bottom half here has more of that blue base to it. It's a lot more cool tone. If I'm gonna pick a preference between warm or cool tone purples, I personally like cool tone. I like mixing the blues and purples. I said that earlier, but this is just kind of a visual to see the difference between cool versus warm tone purples. Purple's one that's not that hard to make go either way. You can kind of do with it what you will, but in itself it is a cool toned color. Now let's talk about my favorite purples in my collection. In the Jeffree Star Alien palette, I love Area 51. This is such a good purple. This one might be one of my favorite just true medium tone purples out there. It's so good. Let's get a little controversial. I like the Jaclyn Hill Bling Boss palette that came out with Morphe. This gem shade is super pretty and I love this ballsy shade. It just kind of looks like a champagne color in the pan, but it has more of a purpley reflect to it. That's what's on the inside of my halo right here. I feel like this is just a really good warm purple palette. Although this one's more of a cool tone purple, but as a general whole, this is a really good palette to work with if you're into the warm tone purples. You can make really pretty rusty cranberry purple plummy looks with it. In the Douce palette from Juvias Place, I really like Custard. This is borderline pink, but this is a good example of what a warm tone purple looks like. It's just a lot more pinky red tone than the previous purples we've looked at. This is the purple palette. If you are in need of a good purple palette, you need the Ace Beauté Paradise Fallen palette. It's so pretty. I was gonna use it in my look today actually, but I chose not to because I just did a 3 looks 1 palette video with this palette last week. I will try to remember to link it down below if you want to see some more purple looks. I love that palette. That is the best purple palette I've ever used in my lifetime. From Strobe Cosmetics, the Creepy Cute palette, I really like Planchette. It's such a good lavender. It's cute and it's pigmented and it's still soft and pastel. I just love that palette, but that lavender shade is so cute. From Give Me Glow, the grunge palette, I really like Punk. It's so deep, it's so purple, it's so moody and cool tone and just so yummy. I love that as a deepening shade with purpley looks. From Menagerie Cosmetics, I first have the Dragon Child palette. It has 2 really awesome purples. It has Stone Drake, which is a really cool lavender color, and Worm, which is a cool toned, it's not quite lavender, it's not quite periwinkle, it's not quite medium tone purple. It's just a unique color, I feel like. It's really good, and those are really pretty and pigmented and blend really well. And also from Menagerie Cosmetics, I have the Feral palette. This is the shade Allium. I think I'm saying that correctly, who knows? But this is a really pretty, kind of warm tone purple actually. It has a little bit more of that heat, that warmth, that reddishness to it, but it's still not super warm. It's kind of just, It's like a neutral warm purple. I'm rambling. From Ace Beauté, Aubergine is a really good warm tone purple. I said that really weird, but this one's really pretty. I love using this. I love this palette as a whole, but we're talking about purples, so this is just a really good warm tone purple. Blends really well, very pigmented. I love Ace Beauté's shadows. Also from Strobe Cosmetics, we have the Divinity palette. This is Katesh, if I'm saying that correctly. It's a really pretty shimmery purple. So good, so royal. It's like the color a queen would wear. It's so pretty. From Juvias Place, we have the Magic palette and Iffy, I don't know how to say this word. It's just a really deep, deep purple. It doesn't even look purple in the pan because it's so dark. It almost looks like a blue, but it's just a really pretty cool tone purple color. It actually kind of matches my shirt a little bit. It's a really good purple. And I also really like this Faso shade. It's just such a pretty duochrome. It's like pinkish, purpley-ish, lavenderish. It's so cute. And finally, the Violet Voss hashtag palette. This whole bottom row is a good row of purples. They're all pretty much warm toned actually, except this one's a little bit more on the neutral side, but all these other ones have that reddish base to it, which complements really nicely with the rest of this palette because you have those golds and those oranges. But those are my favorite purple eyeshadows that I own in my collection. Let me know what your favorites are, whether they're palettes or in singles, things like that. And I guess we're just gonna move on now. I'm going to show you how I created this eye look and we'll finish this video up. All right, we're gonna do a purple look. I don't know what we're gonna do. I start all of the tutorials for this series like that. I know for one, I'm gonna start with Punk from the Me Glow Grunge palette, just because it's really deep and really intense and smoky. And I'm just taking that on a really small blending brush from e.l.f. And I'm just gonna start packing that really low into the crease, all the way from inner to outer corner. My eyes are primed already with the Smashbox Lid Primer, and I did not set it because I don't do that. I like it a little tacky. I'm gonna go ahead and start just smoking some of that under the lower lash line as well, because I know I'm gonna want that down there. To blend that shade out some more, I'm going to take Area 51 from the Jeffree Star Alien palette. I'm just taking that on another small e.l.f. brush, with this one slightly bigger, and I'm just going to start blending that right above that first shade. I'm using really light pressure, really small motions, and I don't have a lot of product. I'm just going to build this up really slowly, because I feel like, I don't know if it's true for everyone, but at least for me, purple eyeshadow can get very intense really fast and not necessarily in a good way. So I just like to take my time with purples especially. Now I'm going to go in and take Custard from the Douce palette from Juvias Place. This is a slightly warmer, more pinky-ish purple, but it's going to just help create some nice brightness and gradient with the rest of this. And my cat is meowing like crazy because I just got home 2 days ago and he thinks I'm lost all the time now. Absol! Abby! But I'm just blending this again, inner to outer corner, above what we've already done. Now I'm going to take Planchette from the Strobe Cosmetics Creepy Cute palette. It's just a really cute soft lavender. I'm just taking that on a fluffy brush, and that's going to be blended on top of everything we just did, just to help continue off that gradient so it fades nicely. Now I'm just going to kind of slightly cut the crease right in the center, like a halo cut crease. You obviously don't have to do this, but I want a little extra crispiness with the center. I'm just taking my Colourpop concealer to just kind of finesse it. I put some on my lid and looked straight up like you saw, just to see where my crease kind of should be based on where my eyelid touches. And now I'm just going to take that first brush with a little bit of Punk, that very first shade, just to kind of re-intensify the inner and outer corner. So there's way too much stuff up here for you to be up here. Come on, you can go. You can go. Now I'm going to take Night Sky from the Paradise Fallen palette from Ace Beauté, and I'm just taking that on really any eyeshadow brush, it doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to heavily pack this on the outer edges, kind of in between where the concealer is and where that dark shade is. And last, from the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Bling Boss palette, I'm going to take Ballsy right here. In the pan it just looks like a champagne-y shade, but it has a purple shift to it that's really pretty. And I'm just using that same brush I used to cut the crease, and that shade is just going to go right here in the center, where there's still some space. Just taking a tiny bit more of that Ballsy shade again to pop in my inner corner, and that's gonna be it for this look. I'm going to throw on some lashes and something on my lips, and we'll be back to finish this video up. That's it. That's the end of the video. This is the final look. I'm wearing my Flutter Lashes Pucker Lashes. My lipstick is Black Moon Cosmetics Purgatory. It's my favorite dark purple lipstick ever. It lasts all day and it does not get cakey or flaky or crumbly. It's perfect. I love how this look came out. Like I said in the beginning, purple eyeshadow is not my personal favorite to wear, but when I have a really pretty dimensional purple look like this, I don't hate it at all. I feel fine. I'm gonna go to work and I'll survive. I like it. I feel like purple is really popular to wear. I don't know why. I've just never been into purple. I don't know. Are you guys with me? Are you for purple or against purple? What are your thoughts? But anyways, that's the end of the video. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something new. I wanted to thank you guys again for the support you've given me on my first 3 parts of the series on the yellow, green, and blue. And I'm excited to keep making more. Next is going to be red. A lot of you have been requesting red, and I'm really excited about it. I love red eyeshadow. It's so pretty. I'm so happy that brands finally make red eyeshadow. It was so hard to find red eyeshadow for such a long time. How many times can I say red eyeshadow in the same 10-second period? If you're not already, hop over to my Instagram. It's beautbean. Follow me there. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe here before you leave. I post every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Let me know what videos you want to see on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.